I turned back, and all of a sudden now I seen his hand go up in the air, and he embedded that knife right through my arm. He pulled it back and he said, "Dead, I'm cutting your throat." He came in for the strike again. I only had limited movement, and I didn't want him to get, and I'm like looking, I mean, this is 2.5 seconds. I mean, this is how fast. And I turn, and I'm thinking now, I look over, and all of a sudden I see blood squirting from my arm. Now I'm in the mode of defense is, how do I stop this? So there's a couple things that I'm in my mind is I gotta get this guy, I gotta get him off of me. I gotta get him out. I have to do whatever I need to do to render him out. So I started from that position. All of a sudden we heard a squeak. He turned his head. As he turned his head, it was the cruiser pulling in. He dove off of the window. Right when he dove off of the window, I hear the policeman say, "Put your hands up," and he had his gun out. I looked out, and he said, "All right, Dave, I got him." I said, "I don't care about that." I said, I opened the door, and I said, "He got me good. I think he got me in the chest, too." I said, "I think I'm bleeding out." And he looked over, and he goes, "Oh, man, you are." And I was like, holy smokes, how many times? Because I don't know how many times he got me, and I was afraid he got me in the chest. And I reached up, and I had blood on my hand, and I said, "Oh, man, he cut my jugular vein," because he said, I'm killing you. I'm killing you.
Right,
he meant to kill me. And I mean, it was just the way it was. And I was just, luckily when he fell down from there, you know, I was going into defense mode, and I didn't even see the cruiser, but when he went down from there, all I wanted to do was get it in reverse and hit the gas. And if I had to back over and whatever I needed to do, that's what I was going to do to stop the threat from it happening again, because he was coming for the kill.
So this attack seems to have been completely unprovoked. I mean,
unprovoked.
All you had said was, "Can I get some water for this dog?"
I said, and we know him. We know him from Idora. He's
you'd hardly seen him for like a few seconds at that point.
He was coming up the street, and Animal Charity was on the other corner, you know, and I knew that they were coming down. I heard the radio traffic, YPD was coming down. And we know the guy, you know what I mean, that he's got an attitude and all these things. People try to stop at Canfield Road and Glenwood all the time and help him, you know what I mean? And help him because they feel bad for him, you know.
You feel bad for him?
They feel bad for him, but when you have a dog with you, you know they feel bad for the dog, you know what I mean? And it was that way. So when he was dragging the dog up Oak Hill, and Jess said, "I just came up the street and I seen him." I said, "Let me get some cars. Let me get some people coming," because he's a lot of, you know. And the wild thing is, over a year ago, I don't know how long ago, we get a call. There's a guy bleeding on 640 Idora up there, bleeding. Well, here he had beat his pit bull in the house. Well, the dog really simply had enough. The dog turned on him. When we got there, he was at the screen door, bleeding, "Help me, help me, help me." And the dog had enough. The dog turned on him and started biting him.
This is
the same guy.
Okay.
So I was able to get the dog off of him, and then he was able to get medical treatment so this dog wouldn't kill him. And, you know.
So you helped him in that situation?
Helped him in that situation because the call came in and said the guy is being attacked by his own dog. When we got there, he came to the door, bleeding all over everywhere.
And the initial call for this was that he was dragging this dog down the street. Didn't want to go.
Yeah, didn't want to, whatever.
He was dragging it.
And then we knew that somebody possibly in Struthers was missing a dog that fit this. So it was more or less a question and answer type of thing to him. What dog is this? And it was that way, you know. And when I turned, like I said, when I had turned over to grab that radio, he's out of my sight. I've been doing this long enough. I know my.
You know you have to be careful.
I know my area. I know where and what I got to do, you know. And this was just all of a sudden, it was in the window, smacked in the face, and next thing I know, when I seen that sharp thing come through my arm, and I was like, oh, and then I felt my chest. I said, oh man, I thought for sure he got me in the chest. And, you know, I'll tell you what.
So you didn't get to see it.
I know it had to be. They said it had to be at least 4 inches long because it went through the side right there and pretty much opened it all the way up.
Did it do any kind of damage?
I have. My fingers are tingling, my wrists and everything. As far as that, it seems better. I'm holding my shirt that I had on. I hold it that way, and it seems that it's holding its own.
You
like.
Don't know yet whether it did.
Well, he said that I got to go see. He said I got to. They were so busy at St. E's over there on Main. He said, I don't think that you have anything. We're only going to put 5 stitches in. You need 40 on the inside. And I said, I really don't want to stay here all night long. I mean, in here.
You gotta do some follow-up treatment.
Yep. So hopefully, but I'm alive.
Yes.
And I'm happy that after all these years, I don't want to just.
How many years?
It's going to be 25, 28, somewhere in there, between being a humane agent.
This is probably the worst attack you've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, we've had them where they've been close. It's been really, really close, but nothing to this. I thought for sure this was the end. That's how scared I was. When I picked up the pen, the only thing I could remember was when I read an article about a guy with an anaconda. Luckily, he had a pen in his pocket. He took the pen out and he went straight to the eye. The only thing I could think was just grab the pen, and if he comes in any farther, I have to do what I have to do. I'm in defensive mode now. Now I'm not. You're not going to kill me here right now today. And he was wholeheartedly wanting to kill me. Believe me when I tell you. And I didn't know. Then I started passing out because I lost so much blood that all of a sudden I felt a pinch. What was the tourniquet? Trying to control a little bit of the bleeding, But I'm here today.
God bless you.
Sore, but I'll, we'll see what happens, but
right.
but I'm alive. Take care of yourself, brother. Nice meeting you, man.
Glad you're still here.
Thank you, brother.
Can we talk
Thank you.
real quick?
Sure.
We got must be the end of that conversation. Can we just have what led up to the call and up to the
the humane agent had gotten a call that this guy that's in a wheelchair that has no legs has a new dog, and he had gotten it from somewhere. And she said it matched the description of possibly a dog that was in Struthers that might have been missing. And I said, well, we'll keep an eye. And she called me and she goes, hey, where are you at? I said, I'm coming up Midlothian. And she said, he's coming up Myrtle, and he has the dog. I said, okay, I'll be there in a couple minutes. We know his history of his mouth and whatever. And I said, let me get a couple cars coming so we can check him, because we knew at one time he did have a knife under his leg. And as I pulled in, I heard the car say, I'm on Oak Hill, and I heard Jess on the phone saying she was coming up from the bottom, and I pulled up, and he was probably 10 feet away, and he's walking by with the dog, and I said, does the dog need water? And he goes, no, he has water. I said, well, people are calling. You can't drag him like this, and whatever, as far as that. And he goes, you don't need no water. And I said, I'm just trying to help you. And as he started by, I'm thinking he's already, past me. I looked in the mirror, didn't see him. I turned and I grabbed the radio, and right when I grabbed the radio, I turned back around. He was already in my driver's side window. The window was down, up. It was probably up about 3 inches. He grabbed onto the window right from there, and he came in on the attack. I think he was trying to cut me in the face, because he got me with the end of the knife on the face, and then when he came back again, I tried to block again, and he said, I'm cutting your throat. While I wanted to lean back, as I put my arm up in a defensive, he just drove it right through my arm. And I was like, I could just feel the pain. And when he yanked it back out, he came again for the next shot to get my throat. Well, when I grabbed my hand, I had rubbed my neck, and I thought, well, he cut my jugular vein. I'm going to die right here. So I have to minimize this threat. I got to do whatever I got to do to take this out. And that's where we were going. That's where the next part was headed. He heard the cruiser, I believe, and when he turned, he had jumped down. He threw the knife. The cruiser came in. I heard him say at gunpoint, and I opened the door, and he goes, all right, I got him. I said, yeah, but tell him to step it up. I'm bleeding bad, man. And I mean, it was just coming out of me, you know what I mean? And I don't, why, but I went right through the arm right there. This here's all bruised. My wrist is all bruised. I got it underneath my armpit. I got a mark here, which could have been from whatever, but at least he didn't get my throat, and I'm here another day,
Yeah, right. No, well, I'm glad you're okay. And when you were there, do you know specifically the number of times you were stabbed, or I think you said
he got me one good one right through the arm, and possibly there was one from up here. They have a hole up here, and they don't know exactly what it was from or whatever. Could have been from the tourniquet, but nothing that's earth-shaking. But this one was 2.5 inches in diameter on here, and they said they're not going to put all the stitches in to let it drain, because the guy, of course, he's at home, whatever he is, the knife's probably not a clean knife to use or whatever, so I'm on all these antibiotics and whatever else, and so now I'm down here today seeing what charge Jeff Libby and what they want to do on it. So we'll go from there.
And doesn't sound like you were shaken, but kind of what are you thinking in that situation?
Well, I thought, out of all these years, of all the things that have happened in this job, I'm going to die here. I mean, I really thought that that this was it. because when I didn't know the extent of the injuries, and when I reached up and I touched my neck and I had seen that there was blood, I thought, man, oh man, he got me in this jugular vein. I mean, you know, and you always hear on the radio sometimes, you know, it's hard to get an ambulance. I'm thinking, I'm going to die right here in this dog truck. I really, you know what I mean? But very, you know, all night I've been thinking about it and just kind of like very scared about it. I mean, because it happened. So it was 2.5 seconds tops. I mean, literally, you know?
This is something that happened out of the ordinary, or do you think this job's getting more dangerous now?
Well, I mean, it's definitely getting more dangerous as you're going to houses. You know, I'm the nicest kind of guy. I go there. What's the first harmful event? Your dog came out and chased somebody down, maybe. You know, what would happen if your dog chased somebody? The same kind of thing. So you try to work with them the best. Well, you know, over the course of the last few months, it just seems there's a lot more, you know, dog warden, you know, you're not coming here, you know what I mean, and things of that nature, where it used to be, hey, I'll buy a license, I'll get a citation, whatever it might have been. Now it just seems to be it's getting a lot more to where more violence. And I'm the one that if something happens, like I told my boss, Diane Fry, and them, if something happens and we know there's a bunch of people there, I'm backing up. You don't see us on my shirt. I'm backing up. These guys are busy with YPD. There's a lot of calls coming in. I'm not getting into something that it's a dog. I'll come back to it. You know what I mean? You know, and go from there. So, but when this happened, like I said, I just thought, man, he got me in the neck. You know, when I seen the amount of blood, I'm like, oh man, you know, like really got to end this way out of all these years of this, you know? You know, what do? You know, I went into the defensive mode then. How am I going to get him? How am I going to get him? What do I have to do right now to eliminate this threat? So that's where I started to, and I think he looked at me, and I think when I was going to do this, like he jumped down off because the cruiser pulled in as well, because I was going to defend myself in any way I could.
And is there a hesitation to go back to work? Do you think this is?
Well, I mean, you know, I've been doing this a lot. Nothing like this has really happened to where this intense. You know, and there is, you know, I was up last night all night, you know, just thinking, man, my grandkids, my kids, you know what I mean, your wife, you know, you think about all these things because, I mean, I thought for sure this is it. When I started passing out from the loss of blood, I thought, man, you know, I mean, this is it. I'm dying on Myrtle and Oak Hill. You know what I mean? Really don't want to do that right now. You know what I mean? Still got stuff to do, you know? So you're fearful of it, but guess what? You know, go back and see what happens. That's all. You know, try to be tough about it. I mean, you know.
Worst incidents of your career?
Yes, the worst physical incident of my career. Worst physical. The other ones where the people were fighting, you know, coming down to fight you and all that kind of stuff, but not like this. This was going for the kill. He was out to cut my throat. He was out to kill me. There was no question about it. None. Zero. The look in his eyes was, I am killing you, and there ain't nothing you're going to do. And all I could do was think to get that pen and take that pen and go straight through his eye, back into his brain, and just kill him. I had to get him off of me. There was no way around it. I mean, I was now in defensive mode, you know, and I knew that I was cut, and I knew that I was bleeding bad.